Hello everybody, welcome back to Roald Dahl and the Minpins. So we're going to carry on a little bit today with the text, and then you're going to answer some more questions about the Minpins. Now we're not going to be reading the whole of the story, just a few more pages. Yesterday we ended up on a cliffhanger where Billy had the devil on his shoulder who was speaking to him, and we know that the devil always speaks to him when he's especially bored. So let's find that part and continue. Remember, he's not allowed out of the garden gate on his own. His mum is always checking on him, making sure that he's being good. His mum has warned him about the forest of sin that lays beyond their house. So just to start with where we finished off. The devil always started whispering to him when he was especially bored. "It would be easy," the devil was whispering, "to climb out through that window. No one would see you, and in a jiffy you would be in the garden, and in another jiffy you would be through the front gate, and in yet another jiffy you would be exploring the marvellous forest of sin all by yourself. It is a super place. Do not believe one word of what your mother says about wangdoodles and hornswogglers and snozwanglers and vermicious nids and the terrible blood-suckling, tooth-pluckling, stone-chuckling spittler. There are no such things." "What is in there?" little Billy whispered. "Wild strawberries," the devil whispered back. "The whole floor of the forest is carpeted with wild strawberries, every one of them luscious and red and juicy ripe. Go and see for yourself." These were the words the devil whispered softly into little Billy's ear on that sunny summer afternoon. The next moment, little Billy had opened the window and was climbing out. In a jiffy, he had dropped silently onto the flower bed below. In another jiffy he was out through the garden gate, and in yet another jiffy he was standing on the very edge of the great big dark forest of sin. He had made it! He had got there! And now the forest was all his to explore. Was he nervous? What? Who said anything about being nervous? Hornswogglers? Vermicious nids? What sort of rubbish was that? Little Billy hesitated. "I'm not nervous," he said. "I'm not in the least bit nervous. Not me." Very, very slowly he walked forward into the great forest. Giant trees were soon surrounding him on all sides, and their branches made an almost solid roof high above his head, blotting out the sky. Here and there little shafts of sunlight shone through gaps in the roof. There was not a sound anywhere. It was like being among the dead men in an enormous empty green cathedral. There's a picture there, quite powerful. The trees, look how large the trees are compared to. Little Billy stood there, looking around. There he is. When he had ventured some distance into the forest, little Billy stopped and stood quite still, listening. He could hear nothing. Nothing at all. There was absolute silence. Or was there? Hold on just 1 second. What was that? Little Billy flicked his head round and stared into the everlasting gloom and doom of the forest. There it was again. There was no mistaking it this time. From far away there came a very faint, wheezing, whiffling noise, like a small gusty wind blowing through the trees. Then it grew louder. Every second it was growing louder, and suddenly it was no longer a small wind. It was a fearsome, swooshing, whooshing, whiffling, snorting noise that sounded as though some gigantic creature was breathing heavily through its nose as it galloped towards him. Little Billy turned and ran. Little Billy ran faster than he had ever run in his life before, but the swooshing, whooshing, whiffling, snorting noise was coming after him. Worse still, it was getting louder. This meant that the thing, the maker of the noise, the galloping creature, was getting closer. It was catching him up. "Run, little Billy, run, run, run!" He dodged around massive trees. He skipped over roots and brambles. He bent low to flash under boughs and bushes. He had wings on his feet, he ran so fast. But still the fearsome swooshing, whooshing, whiffling, snorting noise grew louder and louder as it came closer and closer. Little Billy glanced back quickly over his shoulder, and now, in the distance, he saw a sight that froze his blood and made icicles in his veins. And we're going to stop there. So, little Billy did it. Little Billy went into the forest all on his own because the devil told him he'd be there in no time, in a jiffy. What do we think that is that he's seen? Right at the end there, something that froze his blood and made icicles in his veins. Well, we're not going to find out today, but in your to-dos you will see some more questions about this text. Think very, very carefully. If it asks you to find and copy a word, make sure you do that. If it asks you for a synonym or another word for one of the words in this text, then make sure you try and look for that word as well. And read around it to think about what it means in that sentence. And don't forget, where it says to justify an answer, make sure you're explaining your reason why you think that. Have fun. Bye.